What's that little girl's name? Oh, is that Ellie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see the people that are on? Where do you go?
Can you see up at the top here? You can see Sean King and Vicky up there, and there's other participants that are helping out now too.
Oh, I see Vicky, yeah. and Casey. I see Casey.
Yeah.
Just gonna put this chair over here.
Yeah.
See, this thing was outside in the winter, and I think the top was away somewhere. Brand new. I didn't even use it.
This your cooker? Your cooker there?
This thing, yeah.
Yeah. Your teapots are next to.
Copper.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're just going to wait 2 more minutes for anyone else to join in, and then I think we'll get started.
Oh yeah, I could sit now too.
Yeah.
Andy, Catherine's her husband's working with my business.
Yeah.
It's nice inside. The walls are all done now.
I seen the pictures that you posted of is that your fire pit with the stars on it? And
That's outside.
Down there?
That's outside.
That's really good too.
The building. Lindsay got me that. I'm sure she got me that. And then we bought that thing online for the movies. Yeah. And, I don't know. It's just like one piece at a time.
Yeah. And that's the way to do it, right? That's the best way to do it.
I might be busy. Didn't see this. Didn't see that.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Conway. I'm the Mississauga Nation Coordinator Liaison for Curve Lake First Nation. And thanks for joining us for the first of our workshop series from our new community engagement plan. We're really excited for this, and we're excited that you're able to join us. You know, even online, I think it's a pretty neat thing. Today we have Valerie King from Mississaugas of the Credit, who's going to talk to us about traditional teas and how we do that and why we do this. I'll be letting some folks in if anyone's particularly late, kind of as we go. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention a couple housekeeping items. While Valerie's speaking and giving us a presentation, to just remind yourselves to mute your microphone so we don't pick up too much background noise. And also, if you have any questions, we're going to go through a couple different segments, and we're going to take time so that any of the questions that you have, we can get them answered. And the best way to do that would be to just in the bottom of your screen on the Zoom app, there'll be a little bubble that says chat. And if you press that, you'll see a little message box pop up on the right hand of your screen, and you can type in a question there. And our Mississauga Nation Coordinator Liaison, who's working the camera over in Mississaugas of the Credit, Casey Jonathan, she'll be able to get those questions to Valerie, and we'll take little pauses as we go through each through each section, and then we'll have a little wrap up at the end. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. And at this time, I will turn it over to our friend Valerie King.
Hey, I double get to that Quam Ecuador. Mississaugas of the Credit, Miguel Sean for introducing me, and to the team. What was it, Cultural Initiative?
Yeah, Cultural Learning Team.
For asking me to come in and do this teaching on some of the medicines that I know, and for Casey for letting me use her porch because my internet sucks. So So you got for letting me do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is offer my tobacco, and I have some in my hand. So that's one medicine. It's not the tobacco or the sema that people smoke. Well, you do smoke it in pipe and things like that, but it's not the commercial kind. It's the one that is in our stories that Creator gave us. So it's the green tobacco, and so that's the first thing that I want to offer. And I'm going to put it in my smudge bowl. I have some medicines back here. I have my pot going here, and I'm going to take this off and put a new one on right now. It's hot. So my pots are over here. I have medicine sitting back here. And what I have in my smudge bowl is some cedar, some sage, and I'm going to put some tobacco in there. And I'm just going to smudge all my things here. So while we smudge and use those medicines, I'm going to talk about those first 4 medicines because that's what's in our Anishinaabe teachings. Is you hear all over the place about the medicine wheel. You see pictures on the medicine wheel. Sometimes those medicines are in a different spot. But I'm going to come from where I learned where they were. So, so this here is the medicine wheel that I drew. So in the east, you'll see that it's the spirit. Then you go down to the south, and it's the emotions, then the body, and then the mind. And I'm telling you for this for a reason, because there's so many teachings in that medicine wheel. It's incredible when you really look at it. And those medicines sit in there. So the tobacco that I just used is in the east. And before you do anything, tobacco is supposed to be given, tobacco is supposed to be used, so that it's just not me saying what needs to be said or what has to be said. It's coming from that spiritual place and being guided in that kind of way. But before I get into that, I'm going to sing a song. I'm going to offer a song first to give thanks. I'm just going to sing it 2 times through. And I'm asking the grandmothers and the grandfathers to come in and come and help.
Lots of, I imagine
we don't have a lot.
Shomes, then again, oh, Gomez, then again, get you, man, to, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hi, 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 oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. So everything begins with a relationship. So my relationship started with these medicines, and that's where it starts. It's not just about learning about it or going out there and just picking it. So you develop a relationship with medicine over time. So in the East, I talked about that spirit, and then the emotions, and then in the West is the physical, and then the North is the mind. And then in the East is the springtime. So there would be medicines at springtime that you're going to get. And then in the summer, there's medicines to get. And then in the fall time, there's medicines to get. There's even medicines in wintertime that's still there. If you look, all the green trees are still there. The white pine, the cedar, the balsam, they're still there. They're for colds and things like that. So, and for protection. So those, the earth, nature is telling us what medicines we can have access to. And then just like if someone was just starting to learn, like when I start learning about medicines, in the East is like a baby, just starting out, and then coming around that medicine wheel again, it goes into the teen, then the adult, and then the elder. And then the last one I want to talk about is the 4 elements. The water in the East, in the South is the earth, in the West is the fire, and in the North is the wind. So those are the 4 elements. But also, when you hear people talk about 7 colors, we're talking about the sky world. We're talking about the earth. And the last one I want you to make note of is when we do all of these things, we're doing it for ourselves. So, which is helpful. So we're at the center of this medicine wheel. So it's taking responsibility for yourself and nurturing yourself and loving yourself and doing all of those things. And then this one goes more into detail yet about medicine wheel. There are just so many teachings. You can Google it. You can see different things. So the other thing is, another one that was coming to me was the sunrise. There's 4 stages of that: the sunrise, there's noontime, there's evening, and then nighttime. So those are the 4 stages within that medicine wheel. So I want to go next to a protocol. So one of them was this, what I started with. So no matter what we do, we always use our tobacco, because that's at the beginning of that medicine wheel. That's the teachings in there, is to give thanks, is to give gratefulness, because you don't know if that medicine is going to come next year. You don't know what's going to happen, or if it's being respected or not. So we're asking for, it's in all our prayers. I go out and I need medicine for this, or I need medicine for that, or I'm looking for medicine from, maybe a person comes into your life or visits you, and then there's an exchange of medicines. So the tobacco is always given to that person, or to the earth, or to the fire, for prayers of what you're needing. And even through the stages of medicine, I burnt the tobacco first. I've had cedar tea on here. I took it off, and then there's another one coming here. It's hot, and so I'll put another one in there. So when we make medicines, we're burning tobacco. We're asking for it to help us, and then we can even put a little bit of that tobacco into the tea. Not a lot, just a little bit. And the medicine's waiting, it's saying, what is it? What is it that you're asking of me? What do you want it to do? It's just like asking a person, it's like, okay, I want you to work on my kidney. Because medicines isn't just one thing. It has all these different things that it may work on. Some are more prominent in a plant to work on something, and maybe another. But say if somebody had high blood pressure, maybe that wouldn't be a good plant to use, and use a different plant. So we always have to be mindful. And then sometimes we maybe put 6 or 7 plants together for a tea. So in a lot of even the stores now, I forgot to bring a tea bag, but you can drive through Tim Hortons and you can get peppermint tea. You couldn't get like that before. You couldn't get chamomile before, but now you can. It's getting like normalized within the Western world, I guess. So that's the first one I want to talk to. The second thing is we can't make tea without nibi. We can't. It's impossible. So the women that take care of the water, and we do these things and pray for the water, because we're life givers. That's our job, to take care of the water. What we're supposed to use really is the water that comes from the moon time. So during full moon, when the women gather together, we bring containers like this, or bigger containers even, and we ask Grandmother Moon to bless the water for us, to use for our family. So we put a little bit in our cooking. We put a little bit in our medicines. We put a little bit in our bath. We make medicine if somebody's sick. So that medicine is sitting there, that's been blessed by the moon, and then we're using that. But if you can't do that, get to a ceremony, you can still stick it out and put it on your porch like this and have it blessed. Because if you look across the lake and the sun is shining like this right now, that is shimmering like this, and that's what we are to look like inside. So when we acknowledge and building that relationship with Mother Earth's blood that nurtures everything, we're connecting to that, and it's helping us. So even when we're drinking our water and we're thinking about that, Josephine Mandam had those messages like that, the late Josephine Mandam, about how we're supposed to be with that water. And so we become shimmering and shining when we connect to that water like that. And so your medicines, your bath, your food will be just as more powerful. They say, like, when the women do the prayers, it's like a big flashlight. But when the men do it, it's like a little one. And it's because the women are the powerful, the life givers of that. And the other thing that women do is carry it in proper cups. But at the moon ceremonies, they'll bring jugs or things like that if they don't have anything. So the water song, it's the same thing. It's talking about being great. All the water songs talk about, I love you, I respect you, I thank you, I'm grateful. And that's all Creator wants, is us to remember the teachings that came to us from the beginning of time. And if we forget, as a human being, when you don't feel appreciated or thanked or whatever, we're not supposed to be looking for it, but it's nice to hear it once in a while. I appreciate you, the things you do, and all of those things for me or my family or whatever, or the community, because we are really shy people. We're just doing what we're supposed to be doing, but that's all Creator wants, is to us to be thankful for things. So that's the water song. I got this water boiling again, so I'm going to show you the first medicine, or the second medicine. On that medicine wheel is cedar. So a lot of you hear about cedar. Cedar was talked about a lot when COVID hit, when we had to be quarantined. A lot of people were talking, you're supposed to drink this much, you're supposed to drink that much. Like, you can do your own research. I encourage everybody, do your own research. You learn more when you do your own research. Ask a couple of people, ask somebody up north, somebody down south, go on the internet. So the cedar sits in the south, and like I said, it's about the emotions. So cedar helps emotions. A lot of cedar around here. We're famous for the cedar. Out west, they don't have hardly any cedar, so they love it when we go to ceremonies out there, and you have a garbage bag full of cedar that you pick to bring up there because it's fresh, and they don't have it. Then they exchange with maybe sage or something. And that's how it was supposed to be. Creator did that in that way, put those medicines in that way. So when we had those gatherings, we exchanged things or bartered things so that everybody would have access to it. So you'll see the cedar in this size pot here. I rip it down this way because it comes off easy. But say a piece like this I had, or maybe somebody cut some off the cedar tree or cedar tree, and I had a bunch of cedar around, and I would put this much in, but I would take these off. These are buds. These here are little buds, and they are poisonous. So you take them off before you put them in your they just come off. You take them off, but you don't. You can. It's not. You don't throw them away even. It's protection medicine. You can put them around your house or around the perimeter of your house or space or your car or whatever, and it's powerful protection medicine. So people will pull this off and put it in a bag or something and have it. They can dry or whatever, but that's medicine. So that's how much I would. This water's boiling. I would open this top, put it in there, and then let it boil until it turns like 15 minutes maybe, and then turn it right off and let it turn a nice green color. Sometimes it's just less. Sometimes as soon as you see it start turning color, then shut it off. And because if you overboil it, then you're boiling all of the medicine out of it. So some of the uses, like I said, like see, I just put it in here, like the seeds. Some of the uses of cedar, like say if somebody had a death because of the emotional that cedar looks after, it's a nice tea to drink, and when that comes in, it helps the grief move out of the belly, through the body, out, because sometimes you get stuck there. And it just helps calm things, helps calm the mind. And in Oneida, they actually, I don't know if they do it anymore, but 20 years ago, the women used to go when I was a death and actually go right into the house and wash the walls with the cedar, like a cedar pot, and washed all the walls for the family to take care of them. So, and I do that when I see there's a death in the community. I'll make a pot of tea and take it to them. And the other thing is, it was in my smudge bowl. It was in my smudge bowl here. So when I light it, there's a crackling sound. Just bring that medicine. And cedar makes that sound when it hits that fire. It crackles, 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 crackles. So we use cedar a lot with the tobacco when we're doing ceremony, because if there's anything that we are letting go or trying to get rid of, that crackling sound is just like thunder, so it just goes. So it gets rid of it. And we put cedar around our lodges. We put cedar in the bottom of the sweat lodge. We put cedar around our circles. Thanks, Maya. We put cedar around our circles. Even in the sweat, if you grab a piece of cedar, they'll put it in their mouth. Thank you. And the other thing is, I could grind it down, like, a coffee grinder. I could grind it down, and I could put it in my soap. If I'm making soap, I could make it into a salve. If I needed to make a salve out of it, and put it above the doorways or the windows for protection in the house. Any questions on that? You want me to keep going?
Did anyone have any questions that they had? You can type them into the chat box, and I'll let Val know so she can answer them.
So I'm going to put some of this in this tea. And that's scouring rough now.
Kim just had a comment about in Hiawatha about washing. She said we wash our dead with the cedar bath.
Oh yeah. I'm just working with the family right now. And it's a very a loving thing to do when you do that with your family, your loved ones, is you're washing their last sweat off of them to prepare them. And it's just a really nice process. And there's usually singing that happens with it. Anything else?
Yeah. Just a question about, is there a best time of year to pick cedar?
Cedar, like the green trees, like I said, they're there every season. So cedar's there all year. White pine's there all year. Balsam is there all year. There is a man up north, he passed away now, but he used to pick the green trees, 7 of them, put them all together, and he'd give me that medicine. And it's good to use in the sweats and things like that. So, and you can do the same thing.
What about a time of day? Is there a best time of day to pick cedar? I heard that you should pick it in the morning.
Usually, yeah, you're supposed to get out there early to pick it, but it's the same thing. Make sure you use your tobacco. The other thing is, if you see a snake, you're supposed to retreat, because a snake looks after the medicines, and if you see a snake, maybe they're protecting those plants, so you have to retreat and go find another space to go, or maybe go back the next day. So I just want to do a little bit more on that part. Good thing you remind me. So when we go pick the medicines, and I'm looking for, say, something, and I see it, it's like, oh, I get so excited. There it is. And then I don't pick it though. I put my tobacco down. I show my gratefulness that it's there, and I just leave that. And the reason is because it might be one of the last families of that medicines, like I talked about a while ago. And then I continue on, and then I see a second batch. I say, oh my God, there's a second batch there. Will I take that? You don't. You don't take that one either, because it's the second batch that might be just only there. But when you come upon the third batch, that's when you take some. And you're not supposed to, in my teachings, you're not supposed to just like grab a whole bunch and like get tons of it. You're only supposed to take this much that will fit in your hand for what you're using it for, what you need it for. That's how much you're supposed to take. And if it's for a bunch of people, then you need to say that in your tobacco, if it's for this or that. I know when we went to Toronto Island, Vicky's son and me and a bunch of other ones, we went and picked Scouring Rush there, and I wanted to because that's our traditional land, and I didn't know where it was around here. Somebody did, but we wanted to go there because the medicines are so plentiful, and that was one of our stopping areas. So they were just laughing at us because the medicines are so plentiful on that island. So we all got Scouring Rush, and you need that. Like that was that's what I just put in this pot right here. And this is what it looks like. People may call it horsetail, but there's 2 types of horsetail. They might call this horsetail, but it's also Scouring Rush. And the other one is like short little pieces. But if you look at that, it looks like a bone out of a body. And that's what I'm taking this specifically for, is my bones. Because I'm older, I'm prone to osteoporosis and other, because I've done my moon time and all of that, and then my moon time was helping me with all of that. So then this is one thing that will help me. So, and I know that because last year I had a broken bone here, and the doctor said, that's a funny place to get a broken bone in the middle of your wrist. You better get your bones checked. Then my ankle. So she said, she wanted me to put on something, but I started using this instead. And I think when Joe Piravana he was talking about this, and he said, this is one of the medicines that they use for the bones. Well, I got that one on here because that one doesn't take long, maybe about 10 minutes. As soon as it gets hot, then it's green already. So then I don't go any further than that. And then, so that was that part there. The other thing is, people can put it in a steel pot, a certain pot for the medicines, As you see, I'm using a copper pot. I come across these 2 copper pots, so I got them. My nephew had them, or somebody had them. So I start using these when I'm doing this kind of things, because we use copper pots or copper things, or people, because it's another type of medicine, because the water changes within that medicine and it gives us what we need. So then it just makes it more powerful yet. So, and then after they cool, I usually put it in glass jars. So I have enough here for a big container like this. And I might put it in this. This is glass. And then it cools down. I might warm it back up a little bit, or just keep drinking it as a cool room temperature drink. Usually 3 cups a day. And then this one here, it's the same thing. The standard is usually 3 cups a day. So I did the cedar. Now the sage. Casey was kind enough to bring her sage out. This is a great big stick of sage. Everybody's familiar with that. They usually use sage when we're doing ceremonies or anything, to clean up like different things or people. And I look at it as this. I tell people, think of it as this. If I had a straw in this cup and I was sucking on that straw, it's like, because sometimes we get going over here doing this, doing that, our mind's over there, we're thinking about this, we got to do that. But this grounds us by bringing it back together, and helps us focus on the middle of what we're talking about, whether it's just a visit between me and Casey, for example, or just what we're doing right now, and focus on exactly what we're doing. Like, there was a lot of things in my mind before I came. Like Casey was trying to get me one of these things working, and hers didn't work. But ironically, I grabbed mine, so we must have been on the same wavelength. So, but anyway, there's different kind of sage. I don't know what they call this one. I don't know if this is buffalo sage, but it's expensive when you do buy it. I have a different type of sage growing. I started, and then there's a couple of sages out west they have, and a couple of different sages up north. And the one I bring home mainly from up north, it's called Purely Everlasting. And why I bring that is because a lot of healers want that one. They want that one because it's protection medicine. They make a tea out of it, but it goes like around your house or things like that. Or to wash your body, or wash after you shower, then you just pour it over. Like, because they're out there working, and they got to keep themselves grounded and cleared off, so that in case they picked up anything or energy. So to me, the sage is a cleaner. You can make, some people make 4 medicines tea. They do put a little bit of tobacco in there, cedar, sage, and sweetgrass, and they put it all together. It's the same thing on the grandfathers in the sweat. They'll put that all together on there, and or just have a mixture of that to put in a pot. Is there any questions on that?
Not yet. Did anybody have any questions for Valerie so far?
No.
Do you want me to empty that out so you can put the tea in it?
This one?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Why do you do that? I'm not talking about this.
Okay.
So this one's in the north on the medicine wheel. Everybody's familiar with this. People make crafts with this. The crafters usually keep it in a dark place because it still stays that nice green color. That's smell, that beautiful smell is in there. And some people put them in their cars, but I find when you put it in a car, it turns lighter like this. It loses its smell. but even sometimes when you just soak them and when you're going to braid them, it'll come back to the pliableness to braid them. So what they talk about, this is ween gush is Mother Earth's hair. So just like our hair, our connection to our hair. So this is her hair. And there's a lot of teachings around the hair. And when you look at this, there was a man named, his name's gone. He was in Toronto anyway, and he did ceremonies with sweetgrass, and he did it so that it was like 21 braids in together. And when you're thinking, when you're putting it together, it's body, mind, spirit, body, mind, spirit. And it was a whole day process of putting the sweetgrass together. And so when we're sitting at powwows, like when Kim and I are at powwows or Vicky, and you look around, everybody's braiding each other's hair. And that's what's happening. They're going body, mind, spirit, body, mind, spirit, body, mind. Not out loud, but they're just doing that. And so that when that braid is finished, they'll be able to continue on their way in a grounded way, because everything's like covered on there. And then when they burn this, that smell comes over. So they talk about this kindness that comes from sweetgrass. So usually like say if you're having a circle and things like that, and things got kind of high, stress, sometimes sage is burnt, but somebody will know instinctively what medicine to burn. And usually sweetgrass is one of them for that kindness because we're always supposed to be mindful of the words that come out of our mouth, because we can't take them back once they come out. So the sweetgrass is usually used in that kind of way. So it's the same thing. You break off a little bit, or you can cut off a little bit and put it in this pot and make the tea. It's a really, really nice tea. I've seen some people now make, you know how you make lemonade? Some people are making sweetgrass tea, and some people are putting maple syrup in there and ice, white pine, lavender. I've seen that. I've tried it. It's good. So that's kind of like at a more temperature, at our colder temperature. And so there's a hot temperature, then there's room temperature now, where I'm going to pour this tea in. When I pour it, you're going to see the color of the cedar. Just, do you see the color of it? It's a beautiful color. You see it in the sun? Somebody even darker than that can. I don't like to, like after you make it, I don't like it sitting there like overnight or whatever, because it's still going, it's still steeping and steeping. Oh, it gets strong. But some people like it that way to keep it because maybe they're taking nightly baths in it or something, because something's going on in their life and they need that clearing of their mind to be calm, to go have a good sleep and all of those things. So this is one tea, and then you can put it in the fridge after it cools down, and just keep it, or put it on the cupboard. I leave mine on the cupboard and just drink it.
How long does it store for?
A couple of days, but you can tell. Yeah. You can tell if you didn't drink any of it, or maybe just half. It gets slimy, like anything else. It'll start getting slimy. So just take it out, put it in the garden or around the house or whatever. And then these leaves, you'll see these leaves in the bottom of the pot. I might put more water in there and make more tea. Like if this was gone by the day or whatever. Or I'll take them out and dry them, and then I'll use them in my ceremony, or just put them in a fire that I'm having and give thanks and that kind of thing. So that's always going back. It goes back to that relationship from the beginning that I talked about, the relationship with the plants, the relationships with yourself, that respect, all of those types of things, developing that relationship with them. So things are always going to come because it's just like two people like learning about each other. Anything else?
I just had a question about you said using the tea to take a bath. So
Mhm.
Kim had mentioned using a cedar bath for our loved ones when they pass away. But can you use the tea for yourself for a cedar bath as
Yeah.
well? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you do? How would you do that? Would it have to be that strength, or would it you just pour some in the bath water?
You can put that in your bath water. You can add other stuff like, say, bear root or white pine or red whip or something. So you're in the bath and you're just you pour it in there. You have another container and you're just like doing your prayers, whatever, and you're just like pushing it all over, putting it over top of you. And you just sit in it. Just sit in it. They actually do some people actually do the ceremony of cedar baths where somebody's doing that for you, like an older woman is cleaning you off if you've gone through some kind of loss of some type of relationships or baby or something. But when we do the loved one, there's like what we usually have a container and everyone like has a washcloth and wiping them from head down. Is that how you do it, Kim?
Yeah, yeah. When they pass, we bathe them with the cedar bath, and it's quite funny to see when we go into the hospital and we're carrying cedar water. And what are you guys doing? Well, we're bathing our dead so that they have that last ceremony before they begin their travels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question?
I don't know right now.
So the sweetgrass is in the north, so it's for the mind, the body, mind, spirit. So body, mind, spirit. So the other thing that I want to say about that is at the full moon, one of the things that came to me was that we take care of our hair, and because you can tell when somebody's down and their hair is flat, you can just tell. And so the hair is supposed to be put into that fire during full moon to give that gratefulness again for the growth that you did from last month until now. So then that hair is put in there at the end of the ceremony, and just think about when you get your hair cut, how light you feel. You feel different when you get your hair cut. So I get the kids, and I always have since they're small. If I take them to a hair cutter, I get them to clean up first the floor, and then I take that, or they sweep it up for me, or I take it and I just gather it until the full moon, and we put that in there. So they know now, like when they go get their hair cut, the hair's going into one spot. And then the other thing is when a loved one does pass, and if you got their hair cut to get them ready, if anybody wants to do that, everybody can cut their hair too, like not cut it off, but trim it. And every time they trim their hair, it goes with that person in a special spot until one full year. So that grieving, that it's helping with that grieving because they're visiting us constantly that first year, and they know when we're in grieving, and they're helping us. So that's honored in that 1 year part, or that 1 year ceremony.
And Kim just made a comment about making sure that your tears don't go into the cedar bath when you're bathing those who have passed.
Yeah, or even making like your moccasins or clothes, no tears are supposed to go in there. Yeah. I'm gonna go to this balsam that my girls brought up. So this is balsam. Why I want to talk about this is because we use it a lot in the sweats, and it opens up the pores. It opens up things. If you have a cold or energy is stuck, it just cleans you right off. If somebody had a cold in the house, I would put three or four of these into a pot, and just same way I just did this tea, let it simmer, and it'll be a red color, a nice red color, not this greenish, but a red color. And it helps the lungs. It pulls, it's like a expectorant. It pulls stuff out, and it helps move things through the body. You want to smell it? It's a nice smell.
Yeah, I recognize it now. When I was younger.
And then another one that I'll talk about is this is bear root, and this is one that I use. You can make a tea out of this, but singers use this. You just break a little piece off and you sing it and you put it in your mouth. It's for protection, but it's also for sore throats. It protects your throat, but it's a natural antibiotic. So my son has trouble with his lungs because of his car accident, because of his lung deflated. So as soon as I hear him coughing, I'll take about a 1/4 inch of this, put it in a pot about this much, make a tea, and he just drinks that. And that clears out whatever is stuck in here. And then the other thing is you can burn this and inhale it, or go around your house and just smudge your house up. And if kids are having bad dreams, because it's like smudgy on the end and from the ashes, you can just put this on your hand like this, and we usually put it right here, so that'll help settle them, because maybe they're like getting a lot of dreams and very connected to spirit world. And then the other one is spearmint. This one here is spearmint. Once it starts growing, it's like crazy. And what a girl shared with me yesterday, because I have spearmint and peppermint, she said what came to her was spearmint. You drink the spearmint first if you're going through stuff, or you want to cut through something, whether it's a sickness, because spearmint and peppermint, they open up things, that open up lungs and helps things drain out of the body. So if you look at this peppermint, it's got like jagged edges. So it's cutting through. It's cutting through things, and then you're gonna drink. Then you're gonna drink through. Then you're gonna have this mint, and it looks different. So if you think about like gum or something, they have that in there. I usually put peppermint in my diffuser because it helps open things up in the room, in the air. I brought this one. I want to talk a little bit about this one, but it just passed. Like when your lawns start getting green, dandelions came out. So the stem you can eat, put it in a salad and all those things, but the root is good for the blood, but the dandelion even is good, but the root is really good. And like I said a while ago, is like there's certain times you pick medicines, like you asked that question, Casey, when to pick medicines. So if you think about it, a plant starts coming out in springtime. It doesn't even have no leaves or stem or yet. So it has to take time and grow. And then in the fall time, it's going to start dying. You see the leaves starting to die and all of those things. So then all the energy is gone down to the root. That's the time to pick the roots that you need. If you need those roots, burdock root is good for the blood. And dandelion, if you can get that at that time and know where it is. So, and then the springtime is the stem part, or that part. So this one here is burdock, the same thing. This is good for blood. So I would put, like, say that much. Can you get it up there? That much in my hand, or a little bit more, to make a pot of tea. But if I was making a big batch of something for, like, say, if I had cancer or something, I would take one handful, put that in. One handful of something else, put that in. One handful of something else, mix it all up so it's really mixed good. And then I would take a batch of my handful and put it in the pot. That's how I'd make it. So you can put more than one tea together. I know you asked about this. I only have a little bit left of this. This is Labrador tea. This one comes from up north. This is like their cedar tea. So this is good for kidneys and for diabetes. So it's helping clean the kidneys and it's help cleaning the blood and it lowers the diabetes. This is one of the main ones that they use.
Is it just one leaf that's in the Labrador tea?
No, like I
Like one different kind of leaf? Oh yeah.
I put that much in there.
Yeah. Nettle tea, like all of these teas I'm talking about, you can go to Goodness Me or health food stores and they're all in tea bag form. If you can't get out to the bush and get them, you can bring your tobacco, you can smudge them and put it in there, put it in a pot, or use that tea bag over twice if you have to. So this here is nettle tea, and it's good for iron. Ladies that are pregnant or have trouble with their moon time and have low iron, this here is the best thing. My iron was really low when I was pregnant, and the midwives told me to start taking it so that I would drink like 3 cups a day, and by the time I had the baby, like I didn't bleed out like it did with the baby before. So it really built my blood up a lot, along with garlic. I had a lot of garlic. This here is plantain. Everybody knows. Everybody has plantain on the ground. There's the plain kind, and then there's the plantain with the lines in it. The one with the lines is stronger than the plain kind. So plantain, if I just got bit by a mosquito or a bee, I would take that plantain leaf, stick it in my mouth, and chew it. My saliva would be activating it, and then I would stick it on whatever it is. Or say if I have a boil, say if I have a boil down here somewhere, I would do the same thing. I would take 1 or 2 leaves, put it on my mouth, chew it, activate it, and put it there, put a gauze there. And plantain is an extractor. It pulls things out, pulls things out. It's a healer. Some people drink it for inside, say if they have stomach issues or ulcers and things like that. Plantain is a good one, like for wounds and things. So that's what I use in my salve. This is bear grease in here. Plantain, pick the plantain, you dry it, and then the leaves, then you smash it up, and then you simmer it with bear grease and coconut oil I have in there, but I also add calendula and comfrey. So calendula is a flower, and if you go onto a health food store and look at the makeup, you'll see a lot of makeup has this in it. So this is calendula, like part of the marigold family. And it's a gentle tea, this one. When you make this one, it's a gentle tea. Like say if you and your friend was visiting, it's just a calming tea. Can you smell it? This here is Minigan. Some people use over 100 herbs and some people have less. This one here has, again, like has a coconut oil, the bear grease, what else does she put in it? Virgin oil. But what is different out of this is that up north, they will pick, just like when poplar comes out, they have buds. So they take the buds off the poplar trees, and that's the medicine. That's the medicine part, the healing part. So then those poplar beads are pounded down and they're added to this medicine, and that's what they do for the pain medicine, or even like spiritually and all that. That's the main medicine that they use. there any questions on it?
No, not yet.
So I could add honey, or not honey. Some people add honey to it. I just drink it plain. And some people add maple syrup because that's another medicine, right, that comes from that tree. And the maple syrup is a blood cleaner. This one here is called chaga. You know, it looks like this, and it's on a tree, and that's how they get it off the tree. On the birch tree. But even the medicine, like after the maple syrup runs, and the next tree that runs is the birch tree, and that helps with the bones. Like, so the maple syrup is cleaning the blood, and then the birch is helping with the muscles to get moving, because after winter and things like that. So this here, a lot of people use for if they have cancer, or they're saying it does everything. But a lot of our people use it for diabetes, so they only need a little bit. Like I'm saying, you know, that I said a handful of this. It's like half the size for this, because it is a strong medicine, and your mouth gets dry when you drink it. So my brother, he was diagnosed with diabetes, and this is all he uses to control his diabetes. He got on metformin and it bothered his stomach, so then he started using this, and he's been using this for like 3 or 4 years. And then this also, I talked a while ago about the women taking care of the water, and it's our responsibility to take care of the water. It's the men's responsibility to take care of the fire, and this is part of their bundle to help start those fires. So when they use that striker, they're using this because when it starts, it just like it starts and then it slowly burns. So when they put it in that nest, that little nest that they formed to make the fire, and then it just lights right up. So it's like a fire starter for them. So I encourage you to look for resources and things like this. Like this is Kim Wheatley. Kim on here. Shared this. Where did you get this, Kim? Union of Ontario Indians? Anyway, from there. This is Jan Longboats I got from a long time ago. So, say if I look at burdock and it says, skin diseases and blood purifier and a great healer. That's what it says on there. So she's put her plants there that she's known of, and then she'll put down what she thinks, what she feels, her relationship, what she's got with it. Elecampane, it's like a big root for the chest and the lungs. Like I stopped smoking, and I just use a little tiny bit, like a part of a end of a knife tip, and I used it for 6 months to clean my lungs out because I couldn't, like, I had a hard time going for walks. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't go up the steps, and it really helped me a lot because I didn't have to get any more things done. Mullen's good for the lungs again. We didn't talk about St. John's wort, but St. John's wort is it's a wound like for healer and everything, but what we use it for is the mind. So since COVID happened, there's some people that were struggling, and St. John's wort is it calms the nervous system, calms the emotions, and the other one is I didn't have it with me, but it's you know the corn husk, the corn cob, the white corn, the husk that goes around it. I would go into the hospital, and like Kim talks about that, coming down the hallway with a big pot of medicine. Well, I would go into the mental health ward and have a big pot of medicine, which is the white corn, and asked to, like, I had family members that was in there, and asked to use the tub to help bath them in that medicine, to help drink that and soothe the mind. And then they usually use that corn to braid it and make a little braid thing where it's hung up above the bed. and it's called under the husk. So if you think of a corn cob and then how that husk is around there, it's doing the same thing. It's protecting the mind because they're so vulnerable and the things that they're going through, it's helping them at that time. So you just take one leaf of that husk and put it in a pot and have it for however long, or put it over top of you after you shower or bath in it, like what Casey was asking. That's one for the mind. And the other one is, everybody's pretty familiar with this. Everything's got lavender in it. Baby stuff, baby shampoo, baby for the bum. Like first it was nothing that they didn't want babies to have, but now everything has got lavender in it, everything. So women's beauty products, everything. So that's the seeds part of it. I even got a couple of masks at the buck store, cut them open, and I put this in here because it's lavender that I had, and I put it in there, and it just like helps. Even having sage by your bed if you have bad dreams or things like that, that helps. So lavender is a calmer on the system. Some people don't like it, but a lot of people do like it. So you can do the same thing. Make a big pot of lavender tea. And put some maple syrup in there, and it's a nice cold drink too. I've done that. Kids like that.
Kim just had a question about what is the corn silk used for? Is it used in the same way as the corn husk?
No, the corn silk. Last night I went to emergency because my kidney was bothering me, and like I had so much pain, I felt like somebody punched me, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get here today. So I had to go back to the hospital, and they said I had a kidney stone. So I haven't had a kidney stone in 20 years. But kidney, got home and I started drinking corn silk right away. Because if you have a UTI, that's the main thing I use corn silk for, is a UTI or bladder infection or kidney infection. It's grabbing any of those things that's not supposed to be in those tubes or anything, bacteria, and getting rid of it. Within a few hours, that pain has subsided. So anytime I have like corn on the cob or whatever, I take the silk and put it in a baggie and put it in the freezer. So I know it's always there. And then all you have to do is take a little handful and put it in a pot. It's kind of sweet tasting, but it can be from the white corn or the regular corn, because we have corn around here right now that's non-GMO that Jessica Hale's selling. It's awesome corn. But I just saved the corn silk from that. That's the main thing that I use that corn silk for, along with cranberries, because it does the same thing. But there's two things working together there. It's cleaning those tubes out and everything, any kind of bacteria. Any other questions?
No, not right now.
That corn, there's quite. So this one here, this last one here, I have is called Squita. I think it's in Scugog, because that's all I've ever known it by. But it really is wild ginger. And when you find the wild ginger plants, they're shaped like this, like a heart. So when you look at the plants, even food, they say whatever it looks like, that's what it's for. So the healers, the traditional people, this is their main medicine that they use. When they go do ceremonies, they make tea, make sure they drink it. They have some in a glass jar. When they do the ceremony, they clean themselves off. Or if they've gone to funerals, they wash their face, they wash their hands in this medicine. It's a really highly protective medicine. I love it. Even like inside, there's like the root. So heavy pieces of root like this, and then little ones like that. And I'll just put it in my mouth. Say if I'm going for a meeting or something, and it's going to be a tough meeting or whatever, and I just put it in my mouth, and it stays there. And I know when it needs to come out of my mouth or whatever. So it's called wild ginger, or squito, I call it. And the other Western people call it Canadian snake root. and it smells like ginger. So, like I said, I encourage you to, like, there's some things that are being developed, a lot of resources, those two resources. This came out of, I think it was Diabetes Initiative. And it has, like, actually the recipes for cedar. It's saying to add honey or maple syrup. You can even add cinnamon sticks. And it talks about the nutrition value of it, high in vitamin C. Because a lot of indigenous foods, if you look at them, because I had a book from a long time ago, all our foods are high in vitamin C. That's why we really never got sick. Corn soup is over the top. I've never seen nothing so high in vitamin C. And when we have a high vitamin C in our body, then we have a good immune system. So, and that prevents infections, right? And so this one here is saying the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and the mental. Physically, nature welcomes you on a walk to obtain your medicines. Spiritually, thank the Creator to lay tobacco for your medicines. Mentally, wild cedar tea provides a calming sense to help clear your mind. And emotionally, the aroma of cedar will fill the air around you, promoting relaxation. So, and then all my books, I was teaching at McMaster, so they're all stuck there at McMaster, and because I couldn't go back there to get my stuff after the COVID happened. So I had already photocopied some pictures. So this is out of like one book that I got. So I've gathered resources like for many years, and it helps me from one person's perception of their relationship with medicines, and maybe I learned something new, or maybe you say, no, I don't want to try that. Like say my daughter, she used lavender a lot, drinking, and then after a while she didn't like it. She drank too much of it, so now she switched to something else, and it helps her. Then these here, it's the same thing. It has crystals, but it also has medicines in there, like cole's foot, lungwort, I guess, mullein leaves. You just find so many things. I've taken like a lot of courses. And this here came from Diabetes Association again. And it's got the turtle representing those moons, the 13 moons, but it's also talking about all of those, what nature is giving us at that time. Like there's all these berries, there's berry teas that we're supposed to be drinking right now. The main thing we're supposed to be eating right now is the berries. And the moon is called mean Jesus, or berry moon. And then next month it's going to go into it again. But see how it started with the fiddle greens up here and the syrup, all of these things, nature telling us. Then it's going to get to the wild rice pretty soon, and the corn. Any questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I just want to talk about this a little bit. This came to my family 21 years ago, this design in a crop circle in our field. And if anybody wants a copy of it, I can like put it on there or whatever. But it talks about those 3 circles at the beginning, and the anniversary date was last night. And there's also a comet like happening right now. And it's supposed to be like near the heart of the bear star there. And we're supposed to be talking more about this sign that came. And it's talking about getting back to the natural law, those first 3 circles, the universal law, the cosmology law, the way we used to live. And the answers are, we know the answers, it's always there, it's in there. And to get back to that way, and the star people or the stars or the ancestors are helping us get back to that. Because within this design, at the end of the design of the stick person, right there was a 7-pointed star, and we lifted that up and give that out to people. But the other sign that we did not share really with anybody, we did ceremony there in that other field, was this one. And what it talks about is Mother Earth pregnant. When I seen it, I was like, what are they talking about? But Mother Earth being pregnant in this new wave coming, and everything that was shared at that time, that's what's happening right now with the COVID, with the heat waves, the water coming in closer to the shorelines, volcanoes, different things, the animals, and it's time to get back to being connected to the land and to the elements. So our family's having a big ceremony tomorrow to recognize the 21-year mark, and some things we got to do around that. So, and I don't know what we're supposed to do after that. So, but if anybody has any questions, I do have one last one. This one here is mainly Six Nations, Ongohoy people utilize. It's white pine. They put it above the doorways. We can put it above the doorways as a protection medicine also. And if you look at it, it has little nodules, and there's 5 things coming out for each one. So I would take about 3 or 4 of these, put it in a size pot, and it's the same thing as the balsam does. It's for the lungs, it's for the protection, it's for when people are in grief or a death in the family. So you can smudge with it. It helps clear things out, and put it in the doorways or even bath in it. And I think that's it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Valerie. Thanks so much for sharing everything with us today. And thank you, everyone who's tuned in and taken part and asked great questions today. Just so you know, we have our next workshop series is coming up on August the 20th, and that'll be with, oh my goodness, Diane Sue from Mississaugas of the Credit, who's going to be talking about teaching us how to make medicine bags. And did I mix up Sue and salt? I saw some smirks. I'm from up north. I hope you'll forgive me.
I won't tell her you said that. No.
But if you look on our Facebook page, there's still sign-up spots left, and Casey's going to send out an email with some more information and some follow-up from some of the things that Valerie was talking about, and we'll share some more information with everybody. So thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Miigwech.
Val,
Well,
I understand that you and the girls have a CD coming out.
Yeah. It was
I'm excited.
awesome. It took us like 3 hours. We were so ready. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Good.
Yeah, the second CD. Yeah, we're just getting artwork and everything done.
Good.
Yeah. I'll save you one.
Baba P.
Mamapi.